Welcome back to World Information HD, where every little fact is big news. Today, we're diving into a surprisingly rich topic: the pennies that could actually make you a millionaire. That's right, we're talking Lincoln Wheat Pennies, and not just any pennies, the top 5 rarest and most valuable ones that have sold, or are rumored, for millions of dollars. From wartime minting blunders to ultra-low mintage gems, these humble 1-cent coins hide some seriously impressive history and value. So grab your magnifying glass. You might just be sitting on a fortune. When it comes to collecting rare coins, few pieces hold the mystique and allure of the Lincoln Wheat Penny. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, these pennies are some of the most recognizable and cherished coins in American numismatics. But among them, there exists a particularly fascinating gem that often escapes casual collectors: the 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln 1 cent, especially the dirty variety. Today, we're diving deep into why this specific coin has captured the attention of collectors and why its value continues to soar, making it a must-watch for anyone who enjoys the thrill of rare coins. The story of the Lincoln Wheat Penny begins with its creation by Victor David Brenner, a sculptor whose initials you'll find subtly engraved on every penny. The front of the coin showcases a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, one of America's most revered presidents, while the reverse features 2 stalks of wheat flanking the words 1 cent and United States of America. These design elements remained consistent until 1958, making the wheat penny a staple of American coinage and a favorite among collectors seeking historical pieces. Now, let's focus on the 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. The no-mint mark simply means that this penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike coins from Denver or San Francisco, which carry a D or S respectively, Philadelphia coins are unmarked, which can sometimes make them harder to distinguish in a collector's search if they're not paying attention. The 1939 issue is particularly significant because it was produced during a transitional period in U.S. history. The country was on the brink of entering World War II, the economy was slowly recovering from the Great Depression, and coins like the Lincoln penny were becoming symbols of both stability and hope. Owning a piece of history like this is not just about monetary value, it's about holding a tangible link to a pivotal era. But what sets the 1939 Lincoln penny apart from the countless other wheat pennies minted throughout the 20th century? One reason is the condition, or rather, the dirty appearance that some collectors seek out. Many coins from that era were heavily circulated, meaning they were handled by thousands of people over the years. This wear often left the coins with a dark, grimy patina, giving rise to the dirty penny description. Interestingly, while most collectors aim to find coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, there is a growing segment of numismatists who appreciate coins with this aged, authentic look. A dirty penny tells a story. It has been in pockets, cash registers, and coin jars. Each scratch and discoloration adds to its historical narrative. Despite the unassuming appearance of a dirty 1939 penny, its value can be astonishing. One might think that circulation damage would reduce a coin's worth, but in the case of rare or historically significant issues, the opposite can often be true. The scarcity of certain coins combined with demand from collectors drives up prices, sometimes to surprising levels. For the 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, its historical context, limited production, and the subtle nuances that differentiate it from other years contribute to its desirability. It's not just a piece of copper, it's a relic that bridges decades of American history. When evaluating a coin like this, collectors pay close attention to several factors. First is the condition, even for a dirty coin. Signs of excessive wear, corrosion, or damage can negatively impact the value, whereas a coin with a uniform patina and intact details on Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks can command a premium. Second is rarity. While millions of 1939 pennies were minted, finding one that has survived decades in reasonably collectible condition can be challenging. Finally, provenance matters. Coins with a traceable history or ones that have been part of notable collections often attract higher bids at auctions. It's worth noting that the 1939 no-mint mark penny has become particularly interesting to collectors because of certain die variations and subtle errors that occasionally appear. Slight differences in the alignment of the design, doubled features, or other minting anomalies can transform a simple penny into a high-value collector's item. Enthusiasts often spend hours examining coins under magnification, searching for those tiny distinctions that can elevate a coin from ordinary to extraordinary. Collectors also appreciate the tactile and aesthetic qualities of these coins. There is something undeniably satisfying about holding a wheat penny between your fingers and imagining its journey through history. Each coin has passed through countless hands, survived decades of circulation, and witnessed the changes of a nation. That worn, dirty surface is not a flaw, it's evidence of the coin's life, a testament to its endurance. Many collectors argue that a dirty penny like the 1939 no-mint mark issue captures a story that pristine, shiny coins simply cannot replicate. In recent years, the market for these coins has been remarkably strong. Coin shows, auctions, and online marketplaces have all seen a surge in interest for wheat pennies, particularly rare years or unique examples. Numismatics experts point out that as time goes on, fewer of these coins are available in collectible condition, naturally increasing their value. For a coin that many might pass over as ordinary, the 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has proven to be a gem, capable of attracting attention from both novice collectors and seasoned investors alike. For those looking to buy or sell, it's essential to understand the coin's current market context. Prices fluctuate based on rarity, condition, demand, and even historical significance. A coin that might have been considered a modest addition to a collection a decade ago can now fetch a significant sum. Authenticity is key. Having a coin certified by a reputable grading service can dramatically increase its market appeal and provide peace of mind for both buyers and sellers. One aspect that fascinates collectors is the idea that a coin's true story isn't always obvious at first glance. A 1939 penny might appear unremarkable in a pocket change roll, but a closer inspection can reveal subtle characteristics that elevate its status. Whether it's a slight doubling of the date, a rare strike error, or the way the patina has aged over decades, these nuances make each coin a unique piece of history. For those willing to take the time to examine, study, and learn, the reward is not just financial. It's a sense of connection to the past. It's also important to recognize the educational value of collecting coins like the 1939 Lincoln penny. Beyond the thrill of finding a rare item, collectors gain insight into U.S. history, minting practices, and the evolution of currency. A single coin can spark interest in presidential history, economic trends, and the artistry involved in coin design. In this sense, the 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a collectible. It's a gateway to broader knowledge and appreciation of history. If you're considering starting or expanding a collection, the 1939 Lincoln penny offers both accessibility and excitement. Unlike some ultra-rare coins that are virtually unattainable, this penny can still be found by diligent searchers, whether in old coin rolls, estate sales, or specialized auctions. Its combination of historical significance, subtle rarity, and distinctive character makes it a rewarding addition to any collection. Collectors often describe the thrill of acquiring one as akin to uncovering a hidden treasure, a tangible link to an era long past yet remarkably present in their hands. As we reflect on the enduring appeal of the Lincoln Wheat penny, it's clear that coins like the 1939 no-mint mark issue occupy a special place in the world of numismatics. They are more than pieces of copper. They are storytellers, witnesses to history, and symbols of the artistry and craftsmanship of an earlier time. Their value, both historical and financial, continues to grow as collectors recognize the rarity and significance of these coins. For anyone interested in the world of rare coins, understanding the unique characteristics and market trends of coins like the 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is essential. It's a reminder that even something as small as a single cent can hold immense historical weight and financial potential. The next time The video opens with the soft sound of an old coin being brushed off, dust particles floating in the air, and the camera slowly focusing on an aged wheat penny resting in the palm of a hand. The narrator's voice enters gently, yet full of excitement, speaking directly to coin collectors, history lovers, and anyone who enjoys discovering something valuable hiding in plain sight. Today we are diving deep into the world of American numismatics, exploring a coin that millions of people once spent casually on bubble gum, newspapers, bread, postage stamps, and school supplies. Yet today, one of these same humble coins can be worth thousands of dollars if you find the right one. The 1940s Lincoln Wheat Penny, especially when found today in a dirty, circulated condition, can still become a dream discovery for collectors who know what signs to look for. The story begins in 1940, a year when the United States and the world stood at the edge of huge historical changes. Franklin D. Roosevelt was president, the Great Depression had ended just a few years earlier, and Europe was already engaged in the early years of World War II. Although the United States was not yet directly involved in the war, massive changes in the economy, labor, and industrial development were happening rapidly. American factories were already preparing for war-related production, and the U.S. Mint was working nonstop to ensure that enough new coins were being produced to support the growing national economy. At the San Francisco Mint, where the 1940s wheat penny was struck, large presses clanked constantly. Lincolns rolled off the dies by the millions. Unlike Philadelphia, which was the primary mint, the San Francisco Mint produced smaller quantities, making its coins generally scarcer and more desirable to collectors today. A 1940s penny may not sound rare at first, because over 100 million were minted, but very few high-quality survivors remain in today's coin market. Most of these pennies spent decades in circulation, accumulating scratches, dirt, discoloration, wear, and metal loss. Many were lost in the war effort, melted in bulk, or worn down beyond collecting grade. That is what makes finding a 1940s wheat penny in circulation today such an exciting moment for collectors. Even if the coin looks brown, dull, dirty, or unattractive at first glance, it could be hiding long-forgotten value that is not visible without careful inspection. Many casual collectors and new hobbyists make the mistake of assuming that dirty equals worthless. But old copper has a personality of its own. Its surface reacts to air, moisture, oil, temperature, soil minerals, and even the acidity of human skin. A dirty coin might look unappealing today, but with the help of a professional grader, magnification, and proper handling, tiny details might appear that dramatically change its value. The 1940s wheat penny can especially soar in value if it shows strong strike details, original mint luster under the patina, or remains close to mint state condition despite having spent decades in pockets and cash registers. And this is where the real treasure hunt begins. Many old pennies in circulation today come from personal coin jars, inherited collections, boxes stored in garages and attics, or large community coin dumping machines found in grocery stores. People often cash in the contents of jars that may contain coins untouched for 40 or 50 years. If you are lucky, a 1940 South wheat penny could fall into your hands unexpectedly. But what makes this coin special beyond age and mint mark? First, the historic design alone carries deep sentimental and patriotic symbolism. The obverse features the face of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first circulating American coin to depict a real person and remains one of the most iconic designs in U.S. minting history. The reverse features two wheat stalks, representing national growth, strength, and agricultural prosperity. Together, these elements transformed the wheat penny into a lasting tribute to America's greatest president and the values he stood for. Collectors today look at several features to evaluate the worth of a 1940s wheat penny. One of the most important elements is strike quality. During wartime production, mints often worked under tight schedules, which sometimes resulted in weaker strikes. A 1940s penny with sharply defined wheat lines, clear lettering, and visible texture on Lincoln's hair can make a big difference in final value. Another factor is die condition. Overused dies could develop cracks, doubling, chips, or misalignment. Some of these errors are rare and attractive, making specific examples highly collectible. A coin that displays doubled lettering, repunched mint marks, or unusual die marks might be worth many times more than a normal example. Collectors also consider coloration. A bright red coin is exceptionally rare from 1940, as very few survived without toning. A red-brown hue is still great, while darker brown coins are common but can be valuable if they still maintain sharp details. In many cases, even a coin that looks dirty can grade extremely well once examined by a professional. However, one thing collectors must remember is never to clean old coins. Cleaning damages the natural surface, leaving scratches and unnatural brightness that instantly lowers the value. A coin with honest dirt and natural aging is almost always worth more. Another major factor affecting value is the preservation of mint luster and eye appeal. Collectors and grading services such as PCGS and NGC use a 70-point scale to assign grades. A coin graded MS65 or higher is exceptionally rare for this date and mint. Finding such a coin in circulation today would be like winning a small lottery. Even lower mint state grades are desirable for the 1940s penny, especially if the coin has few marks and maintains clean fields. But even circulated examples can be worth far more than face value. Many collectors seek well-preserved circulated coins to complete their sets affordably. A well-detailed XF or AU coin might bring strong prices from buyers who value originality and character. And this is where the story gets even more interesting. Some of the highest sales recorded for this coin were for examples found in brilliant mint state, displaying the full beauty and craftsmanship of early 20th century die work. Today's coin market is not just about rarity. It is also about demand, nostalgia, and the emotional weight of history. When someone purchases a high-grade 1940s wheat penny, they are not simply buying a piece of copper. They are buying a link to the past, something that passed through the hands of Americans who lived in an era of massive change and uncertainty. Imagine who might have owned it before you. A factory worker buying lunch for 1 cent. A child paying for a school pencil. A mother purchasing a stamp to mail a letter to a husband stationed overseas. A business owner dropping coins into a register full of wartime trade. A penny like this is small, but its story is enormous. Each surviving example carries the weight of people, time, and real human lives behind it, and this is why coin collecting continues to grow every year. More people are discovering that hidden treasures can be found right in their pocket change. Others inherit boxes filled with coins without realizing what might be inside. There are people today who walk into a coin shop holding a dirty wheat penny and walk out stunned after learning its true value. The 1940s wheat penny is one of those coins that can change the way someone looks at collecting forever. As you search through your own coins, pay close attention to mint marks, condition, sharpness of details, die errors, and originality. Use a magnifying tool, avoid touching the coin surface directly, and store any finds in proper holders. If the coin looks promising, consider professional grading. On rare occasions, a common-looking penny can surprise even the most seasoned collectors. Now, the most remarkable part of this video is the confirmed record sale value. One exceptional 1940s wheat penny sold for a price of $34,222. In the world of United States coin collecting, sometimes the smallest coin can hold the greatest surprise, and today we are exploring a coin that many people walk past every day without ever realizing what they are holding. We are talking about the 1945 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, a coin that has become a surprising treasure for collectors, especially in dirty or worn condition. Many people have no idea that the penny in their pocket, in their junk drawer, in a jar of forgotten change, or lying under layers of dust may be worth far more than a single cent. And when it comes to U.S. history, very few coins have as incredible and widespread a story as the wheat penny. The year 1945 was a powerful and emotional time in the United States. World War II was ending, soldiers were returning home, the country was rebuilding its future, and just about every resource in the nation was being used to support the war effort. From factory production to rationing and even coin manufacturing, nothing in the country was untouched by the realities of war. This was also the last full year that large quantities of wheat pennies were made before major manufacturing changes in the U.S. Mint would begin in the years to come. So when a regular 1-cent coin fell into circulation, nobody imagined that decades later, collectors would be hunting for it with such intensity. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck in enormous numbers, but not all pennies are equal. Some came out with perfect details, others came out with minor mint errors, weak strikes, doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or other small imperfections that collectors today pay thousands of dollars to own. Even more interesting, many of the most valuable specimens are not shiny, perfect, or freshly preserved. Many are dirty, worn, dug out of old boxes, found in basements, coin rolls, abandoned penny jars, parking lot pay machines, or discovered in a handful of pocket change. A really valuable wheat penny may not look valuable at all, and that is what makes this story even more exciting. To understand why a simple 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny with no mint mark can be worth serious money, we first need to look at what the coin is. The obverse side features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has now been used on the penny for more than a century. The reverse side features two wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. For decades, this wheat design represented the backbone of American coinage, a symbol of growth, agriculture, and the steady strength of the working class. In 1945, pennies were made from 95% copper, with the remaining metals being a mix of zinc and tin. However, because the nation was coming out of World War II, metals were scarce and recycling was heavily encouraged, including coin metals. Many coins minted during this period were struck on planchets that had been reused or recycled. Because of this, small variations in the metal quality and stamping pressure sometimes created interesting minting results. These varieties, if found today, can raise the value of a coin dramatically. A 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike Denver and San Francisco, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark on pennies during this period, so the absence of a mint mark is totally normal. However, what is not normal is the extreme rise in collector demand. Thousands of coin hunters, treasure seekers, metal detector hobbyists, and coin roll searchers are constantly on the lookout for this coin. And although millions were produced, only a very small percentage remain in high quality or possess the striking features that make them valuable today. Some of the most valuable examples show extremely sharp details in the lettering, Lincoln's jacket, the beard lines, the wheat stalks, and the lettering on the reverse. Others have highly unusual mint errors that can greatly increase the price, including off-center strikes, doubled dies, repunched mint marks even though the coin has no mint mark, clipped planchets, and die cracks. These are the types of coins collectors pay large premiums for. And here is the most amazing part: some of these coins are found in extremely dirty or worn condition. It may seem unbelievable, but a coin that looks like normal pocket change can sometimes turn out to be an overlooked treasure. Imagine this scenario. Someone brings home a small glass jar they found while cleaning out an attic. Inside are maybe 100 old pennies, darkened by age and coated in dust. Someone else might toss them aside, thinking they are only worth $1. But a trained collector might notice the small date 1945, and suddenly everything changes. With proper examination, a magnifier, and knowledge of mint characteristics, what seemed like worthless pocket change suddenly becomes something special. Many collectors have stories of finding valuable 1945 wheat pennies in old rolls only costing 50 cents to buy or discovered while searching bank boxes one coin at a time. Collectors also love coins from this period because they serve as direct connections to American history. Every coin minted in 1945 was once handled by someone living during the final months of World War II. It may have been used to purchase war stamps, ration food, school supplies, or a newspaper announcing the end of the conflict. Every one of these pennies passed through real hands and lived through a period of massive national emotion and transition. Holding a 1945 penny is like holding a physical piece of history, something that survived through generations to arrive in the present. This is also why collectors pay so much for well-preserved examples. Condition in coin collecting is very important, and coins are graded using a numerical scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the more perfect the coin. Most 1945 pennies in circulation today fall somewhere in the mid-range, showing obvious wear from decades of handling. However, on rare occasions, a coin is discovered with remarkable preservation, sharp details, and luster. These coins are the ones that cause bidding wars among collectors and can achieve record-breaking prices in auctions. Even circulated examples can take on high values when they show interesting features. Some have doubling in the letters of liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." Others have dyed deterioration that gives the lettering a dramatic appearance. A coin might have a noticeable die crack that appears like a scar across the surface. These unusual features can give the coin personality and uniqueness, which collectors value highly. There is also something special about the fact that a dirty penny can hold such high value. It sends a powerful message to every treasure hunter that the next great find may not be gold, silver, or diamonds. It might be a copper coin resting in a forgotten pocket, lying on a sidewalk, hidden in a drawer, or passed back as change in a store. And because millions of wheat pennies were produced, many are still out there waiting to be discovered. Every circulated penny left in public hands increases the possibility that someone watching this video might eventually come across a valuable find. People who are new to coin collecting often start by searching through jars of change or bank rolls. It costs very little to begin, and progress is exciting because every new penny examined might be a major discovery. The 1945 penny is one of the best coins beginner collectors can search for, because many are still out there and most people do not know their true potential value. The excitement of the hunt continues to bring new collectors into the hobby every year. The United States Mint could have never imagined that something as ordinary as a penny struck during the final year of World War II would one day become a prize worth thousands. But the combination of history, rarity, and collector demand has transformed this coin from a common 1-cent denomination into a small piece of American treasure. Dirty pennies from this year are especially intriguing because they prove that looks alone do not decide the value of a coin. The right minting characteristics and the right buyer can change everything. So the next time you come across an old jar of change, a handful of pennies from a bank roll, or a forgotten box of coins stored away for years, take the time to look closely. You might just be holding a remarkable survivor from 1945, a coin that traveled through generations, lived through historic times, and could now be worth far more than most people would ever expect. And in the world of American coin collecting, few feelings are as rewarding as turning pocket change into a valuable discovery. At a major auction event, one of these rare 1945 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat pennies in extraordinary condition sold for $31,000. In the world of American coin collecting, some treasures don't shine with glittering gold or polished silver. Instead, they come disguised beneath layers of age, dirt, pocket wear, and decades of circulation. Sometimes, the most valuable coins look like ordinary change that people toss into jars, drawers, and old tin boxes without a second thought. Among these humble sleepers, the 1951 D-Mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny stands as a perfect example. A coin that thousands of Americans once spent on candy, newspapers, streetcar fares, and daily necessities has, through time, become a silent relic of history that could be worth a life-changing amount of money today. To understand why this coin has stunned collectors and investors alike, we have to go back more than 70 years to the United States of the early 1950s. America was deep in the post-war boom. The Great Depression was becoming a distant memory, World War II was over, and the population was returning to a new era of opportunity. By 1951, families were moving into suburban homes, factories were thriving, and the average person could afford more than ever before. But through all this growth, something small and unassuming continued to pass from hand to hand. The Lincoln Wheat cent. At the time, pennies were used constantly. People bought gum, stamps, fruit, snacks, and household needs with just a few cents. No one thought twice about a penny, because it was simple, common, and ordinary. The Denver Mint, marked on the coin by the tiny letter D beneath the date, produced hundreds of millions of these 1951 wheat pennies. They were everywhere, pouring into pockets, purses, and wallets across the nation. But while most were spent without care, very few survived in untouched, pristine condition. Many were stored in banks, coin rolls, and jars, while others passed through decades of daily use, scraping against coins, counters, and cash registers until their shine faded and the details blurred into the soft, brown patina we now recognize as the dirty wheat penny look collectors cherish today. And yet, here lies the magic. While millions were made, only a tiny number still exist in the highest states of preservation. Collectors today are not simply searching for any 1951 wheat penny, they are searching for the finest examples. A dirty wheat penny with deep brown or original copper toning does not make it less valuable. In fact, in many cases, natural wear and untouched surfaces are seen as signs of authenticity, history, and survival. What matters is how the coin has aged, how its details have been preserved, and whether it has avoided damage, corrosion, cleaning, scratches, or dents. Take a moment to imagine the hands that may have held one of these coins long ago. A grocery clerk earning a few dollars a day. A young child buying comic books and soda after school. A factory worker flipping a penny into a vending machine for a cup of coffee. These small American moments, preserved in copper, create a living connection to the past. Every wheat penny from 1951 has a journey, a story, and a purpose, but only a few have survived long enough to become highly prized. Some may be sitting in someone's desk drawer right now, overlooked for decades, forgotten beneath paper clips and keys, waiting to be discovered. What makes the 1951 wheat penny particularly desirable to collectors is not just its age, but also its manufacturing characteristics. A coin from this period can show variations depending on the metal composition, striking strength, die wear, and mint condition. Over time, these differences have created extremely rare examples with sharp relief, bold wheat ears, crisp lettering, and deep original luster. Even slight shifts in mint die settings can produce visual distinctions that collectors hunt for, such as repunched mint marks, doubled lettering, and sharply defined design elements. These small differences can multiply a coin's value many times over. Collectors today rely on professional grading services to determine the worth of a coin. When a wheat penny is submitted to an expert grading company, specialists examine every detail under magnification. They evaluate the texture, luster, strike quality, and surface preservation from rim to center. A scent that shows strong definition on Lincoln's beard, high points on the wheat stalks, clean fields, and minimal marks is exceptionally rare. Only a handful can achieve the highest grades. And when they do, auctions can erupt into fierce bidding wars, pushing the price far beyond what anyone would expect for a coin worth 1 cent on its face. It is remarkable to think that a coin that could once only buy a stick of gum is now capable of returning an amount that some people earn in months or even years of work. Stories have emerged of individuals discovering valuable wheat pennies in rolls purchased from banks, inside inherited coin jars, or even in change found at the bottom of an old box in a closet. Some people don't even realize what they have until a collector, dealer, or online buyer takes a closer look. The thrill of finding such a coin turns ordinary people into treasure hunters overnight. No metal detector, no digging in the earth, no traveling to ancient ruins. Sometimes the treasure is sitting right at home. If you want to check your own pocket change, there are a few things to look for when examining a 1951 Denver Mint wheat penny. First, study the overall condition. Is Lincoln's hair sharp and detailed, or has it faded smooth? Are the wheat ears still crisp and defined, or have they worn down from circulation? Next, look for signs of damage, scratches, dents, discoloration, corrosion, or signs of cleaning. Cleaning is a major issue in coin collecting. A coin may look brighter after someone scrubs it, but its natural surface is lost forever, and the value drops dramatically. Collectors always prefer originality, even if the surface looks dark or dirty. That original patina is proof of authenticity and history. Next, check for unusual characteristics. Some 1951 coins are known for strong strikes, while others may show slight doubling of features like the date or lettering. These variations are subtle but can indicate a desirable mint error. If you are uncertain, photographing the coin and comparing it with high-resolution reference guides can help determine whether you have something unusual. The most confident step is sending the coin to a reputable grading service for certification. Once graded, the coin becomes easier to sell at its true market value. While many wheat pennies from the 1950s are common, the highest graded survivors are anything but ordinary. They have become investments, historical artifacts, and pieces of American collecting culture. Whether locked in climate-controlled safes, displayed under protective glass, or held in museum collections, these coins serve as reminders that value is often created not by rarity alone, but by survival in the finest condition. The market for wheat pennies continues to grow as collectors recognize the deep nostalgia, visual appeal, and historical importance of these small copper pieces. New generations discover the hobby through inheritance, small purchases, and online auctions. What was once a hobby reserved for older enthusiasts is now attracting younger collectors who appreciate tangible artifacts in a digital world. A wheat penny represents something real, something that was held, used, and passed through time. It is a piece of history that can be held in the palm of the hand. And among all these coins, the 1951 wheat penny stands out not only for its charm but for its startling potential value. When one of the finest examples ever found crossed the auction block, bidders pushed its price higher and higher until the final total stunned even longtime collectors. A penny once spent freely in the marketplace sold for an unbelievable amount, proving that the worth of a coin is not determined by the face value stamped upon it, but by the rarity of its survival. In the end, this simple, dirty wheat penny is a reminder that treasure is not always buried deep in the earth. Sometimes it rests quietly in a jar, a dresser, an attic, or a forgotten bankroll waiting patiently for someone to notice. The story of the 1951 Denver Mint Lincoln cent shows that history is alive, value waits to be discovered, and even the most ordinary coin may hold extraordinary potential. And when this famous example sold at auction, it reached the astonishing price of $44,388. When coin collectors talk about the most sought-after United States pennies, many go straight to the earliest years of the Lincoln Wheat series, or the rarest mint eras. But hidden among the coin jars, tucked inside old drawers, and forgotten at the bottom of dusty shoeboxes across America is one very special coin that many people handle every day without realizing its potential value. The 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny is one of those coins that can appear ordinary, simple, and even dirty from years of circulation, yet it can surprise collectors and new treasure hunters with shocking value, historical interest, and massive return if found in the right condition. Imagine sitting at a kitchen table late at night, sorting through a handful of old pennies a family has kept for decades. Most are worth just 1 cent or maybe a few cents to collectors, but then among them appears a 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark. It looks old, brown, worn, maybe covered with grime from 60-plus years of circulation. Many people might overlook it, tossing it into a jar with dozens of others. But serious collectors know better. They know that every coin has a story, and some stories are worth far more than their face value. To understand why the 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny matters, we first look at where it fits into American history. By 1956, the United States was experiencing a period of growth and optimism. A post-war boom, the rise of American manufacturing, and a new generation entering the workforce shaped the decade. Families bought cars, televisions, and homes. Young students filled the classrooms, and the nation was preparing to step into the space race and a modern era. But in the hands of ordinary Americans, pennies continued to play their humble but essential role. They bought small items, paid vending machines, and filled piggy banks for young children saving for their future. The Wheat Penny series had been in production since 1909, created to honor President Abraham Lincoln. For nearly 50 years, the design of 2 wheat ears on the reverse served as a symbol of agriculture, labor, and American prosperity. These coins circulated everywhere, seen by millions every single day, and each one passed through countless pockets, purses, shop counters, cash drawers, and coin sleeves. When the 1956 pennies rolled out of the presses in Philadelphia, no one expected that decades later they would be recognized as collectible, valuable, and in some cases extremely profitable. The 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In that era, Philadelphia did not mark its coins with the letter P, which is why these coins appear with no mint mark. Millions were made, and for most people, that might suggest they are common and not worth saving. But collectors understand something important. Not every coin from a large mintage ends up surviving in high condition. Time wears metal away. Small scratches accumulate. Dirt, oils from hands, and oxidation leave many surviving examples corroded and unattractive. That is why the few coins that avoided heavy circulation and still retain their sharp details are highly prized. But what about the coins that are dirty, dull, stained, or even visibly aged? Surprisingly, even those can carry value. Some old pennies, despite their condition, are sought after due to strong collecting demand, rarity in top grades, or special errors that slip past the mint's quality checks. A collector sorting through a handful of old coins may come across a 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny with marks, scratches, and a stained surface. At first glance, it may look like it holds no value, but a determined examiner knows that the value lies in more than appearance alone. The fine details of the strike, doubling of letters, the strength of Lincoln's profile, or subtle shifts in die alignment can turn a simple coin into a discovery point. One of the reasons the 1956 Philadelphia wheat penny has become a standout is the number of high-grade examples that have shocked collectors on the auction floor. When these coins were first produced, no one saved them in large quantities. People saw them as pocket change, not investment pieces. As a result, most circulated heavily. Today, this makes coins in superior condition very rare. If a 1956 penny managed to stay untouched in an old collection, storage roll, forgotten bank envelope, or inherited coin set, it preserved something most others lost: mint state luster. Collectors love luster, the shine that reflects how the coin looked the moment it left the press. When that luster survives, the value skyrockets. But the coin does not need to be perfect to capture interest. Even a coin that appears dirty or stained may reveal something special under magnification. Many of the 1956 Philadelphia pennies show evidence of light dye deterioration or metal flow lines from the high pressure of mass production. Some may display light dye doubling that collectors love to discover. Others have slightly off-center strikes, misaligned dyes, or planchet imperfections that make them unique. A collector with a patient eye and a simple magnifying glass can turn an ordinary pocket find into a valuable piece. The excitement around coins like this comes from the hunt. Anyone can go online and purchase modern coins directly from the mint, but there is something more meaningful in the idea that a life-changing coin could be sitting in a jar of dirty pennies that someone tucked away in a garage decades ago. This creates stories, discoveries, and the thrill of mystery. It is similar to the feeling of opening an old-time capsule or unlocking a forgotten memory. Every wheat penny has its own history. Some may have passed through thousands of hands. Some may have been pocketed by soldiers, construction workers, factory employees, students, teachers, or farmers. Each one carries invisible fingerprints of the people who lived during its era. For numismatists, coins are not just metal discs with numbers. They are artifacts and time travelers. The 1956 wheat penny represents the United States in a time of transition. It was one of the last wheat pennies to be minted before the design changed in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial reverse. That alone makes the later years of the wheat series more emotionally significant to collectors. When people hold a 1956 wheat penny, they hold one of the closing chapters of a half-century tradition. It is the final generation of a design that millions of Americans grew up with, spent daily, and took for granted. Every coin's journey matters. Some may have spent years rattling inside a store cash register. Some may have been given as change for a toy in a 1950s candy shop. Some may have dropped into collection plates at small-town churches. Others may have been lost behind furniture, forgotten under a floorboard, or saved by a grandparent with the simple intention of keeping a little piece of the past. The survival of these coins is a story in itself. So when someone finds a 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny today, especially an aged one covered in dust and dirt, they are not just holding metal. They are holding history, mystery, and the possibility of major value. Auction houses and collectors understand this, and when the perfect example appears, fully preserved with minimal marks and bright natural mint shine, bids can rise unexpectedly. The market becomes competitive. Collectors want to secure these final pieces before the supply dwindles even more in the coming years. Because unlike modern coins, old wheat pennies do not gain new survivors. Their numbers only get smaller as time goes on. This makes each discovery worthwhile. Whether found in a roll, a jar, a metal detecting expedition, or an inheritance collection, the 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny stands as a reminder that the most ordinary object in life can hold the most extraordinary value. And while most will only be worth modest amounts, the rarest, cleanest, sharpest examples have stunned the numismatic world, selling for an astonishing $40,993.